welcome to this theater talk for Roundabout Youth Ensemble's Stars and Relations. My name is Jonah Fisher, I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the production's director.
Hi, my name is Jordan Henry, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the associate director.
Hi, my name is Lauren Urbanek, I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the playwright of Stars and Relations. In this theater talk today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what the show has been like to create, as well as what audiences should expect in seeing this play.
Before we begin, we want to tell you a little bit more about Roundabout Youth Ensemble. Roundabout Youth Ensemble, or RYE, is a free after-school and summer program for New York City public high school students. Over the school year, students are mentored by professional artists and trained in a variety of theater skills. In the summer, these skills are put to the test as we fully produce an original piece by one of our members, like Stars and Relations.
Stars and Relations is about a group of teenage friends in the late 90s that endures a terrible tragedy in their junior year of high school. Flash forward 5 years after their graduation, no one is coping well with the incident. Once they reunite, they realize they must find a way to work through their grief to be able to cherish the memories they made without it plaguing them.
In the spring semester, I would gush about how much I really wanted to do your play this summer, and I feel like having the opportunity to hear it out loud in its entirety, I was able to feel some kind of connection between me and how these characters were grieving. In October of last year, my cousin passed away. His name was Sherwin, and that was the first time in my life I lost someone so close to me, and hearing these characters going through grief and how they dealt with it, I was able to find bits and pieces of how I felt like I was grieving in those kinds of ways in each of these characters, except Leo, but you have to see the play to know why. I had to sprinkle a few Easter eggs in here and there, but I really appreciate, and I think what really drew me to your play was how real and human it felt. It didn't really feel like as much of a performance, but it felt very realistic and it felt very human to me.
Dude, I will say I was very lucky because I got to direct a reading of your play in the spring semester. And at that point, we only got to see one scene, and it was between just two of the characters, so we didn't really know how expansive the rest of the play was. But like Jordan said, it was just, there is something so realistic and human about your depiction of grief and processing trauma like this. So for me, I was just, I really admired your work when I was working on it in the spring, and now getting to see the whole show and getting to actually block it is this incredible feeling because we've sort of watched it grow.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, I think something that's very important to me and something that really stands out to me whenever I write anything, but specifically with this play, was making sure that every character felt human and had like a distinct voice. So I'm very glad that both of you felt that way. But I've been very grateful that during this process to hear the play out loud multiple times and be able to take people's feedback and get feedback from my mentors as well and from the ensemble about how these characters can be even realer. And yeah, I think that was something so important to me, to make sure that they were actual real people and not just caricatures of grieving processes or just like carbon copies, as you said, Jonah.
Well, on the topic of hearing it out loud, when we originally read the play as an ensemble, it was 103 pages, if you remember.
Yes.
And it was beautifully written, had so much good content in it, but it was long. And about a week later, you gave us a final script that was suddenly 80 pages. So that's 23 pages gone.
Yes.
And I would love to know, and I think lots of other playwrights might like to know as well, how you took this script that was so full of, there was just so much in it already, and how you chose where to cut, what to cut, and how you condensed it into those 80 pages while still keeping it true to what it was, and keeping those distinct voices, that distinct story.
That's something I've struggled with a long time. I'm the type of person, probably since I was a kid, that writes like way too much instead of way too little, which, you know, I actually, I once wrote a paper for school that it was supposed to be around 12 pages. That's what my teacher said. But instead I wrote 49.
Wow.
Yeah. So we see a pattern here. So I think with this play, really how I start writing, I sit down to write either a scene or I do like a character exercise or something. I always start with a visual, and it's not specific, it's just a visual, something I'm seeing in my head. And so to make something out of that, I write down exactly that on a doc. And then from that, a scene curates itself. And I think once I hear it out loud, as I said, I'm very grateful to have heard it out loud so many times. Once I hear that, once I get feedback, I started to go through with my mentors, and I started to see what exactly, like every single line, every single stage direction, what needed to be kept and what was necessary to the story. I want to ask about the directorial process and how it's been like in the rehearsal room with the actors. Jonah, you as the director, and Jordan, you as the associate director. What has the relationship been like between you guys and directing this play?
Well, I think for us as a team, we've sort of been united on trying to, jump over every hurdle of this process. And the first big hurdle, the first big challenge was making sense of the play that you gave us, because the play is really beautiful, but it's not an easy play to analyze and to make a blocking plan for. So we spent a lot of time just reading it and trying to see, what was here, what can we work with? And the big choice we made was to split up the play to sort of two categories, where we had in one bucket all the scenes that involved the actual modern characters, the real life scenes. And then we had in the other bucket, there are two buckets here, in the other bucket we have all the scenes that are memories or, things that are happening in these characters' minds. And then we basically agreed that I would direct all the modern bucket scenes, and Jordan would direct all the memory bucket scenes, and then we would come together to direct the scenes that were sort of interwove the two. And that's how our partnership has gone. And Jordan can disagree with me, I hope she won't, but it's been very smooth, and I think we have a really nice dynamic that's formed.
I feel like working with the younger characters has been one of the highlights of my day, really. And I think collaboration is incredibly important in communication once we're directing, because we are in two separate groups with the older and younger characters, and we need to find a middle ground to where we can tell that they're the same people and they've just evolved. And I feel like me and Jonah are on the same page, and I really hope they agree with me, but I really do love working with them. And it's just the highlights of my day is being able to come together after a long day of blocking and seeing how everything runs through and seeing how two different perspectives can come together and form its own world.
It's important to note that this play deals with a lot of really heavy topics, things like death, grief, but then also substance abuse, domestic abuse. And I know for all of us that, it sort of poses this challenge of how we as young people are going to approach ideas that are really big and serious, and ideas that adults can't even wrap their heads around sometime. And now we're putting that on our shoulders to try and figure it out. But I also think that there's something very rewarding and very important about it, because these things are experienced by people our age. And I think the same is true of a lot of these ideas that come up in the play, is that we don't want to talk about the things that we're uncomfortable with. So I know for both Jordan and I, it meant a lot of research going into the process about these kind of topics that are going to come up, and then sending that research on to the actors and making them do their own research about how to truthfully and respectfully portray those feelings. And I hope that it's the audience takeaway too, that, we shouldn't focus on the pain, we should focus on the growth.
For me, I feel like Stars and Relations isn't just about teenagers going through grief, but humans as in general, because grief is something that we all sometimes in life have to go through and have to face. And I love how this play doesn't shy away from it, and it shows the ugly parts, and it shows that nobody grieves the same way, because we're all our own individual people. And I feel like it's really important to just show that we can evolve, and we don't have to make one tragic event hold some kind of weight over our shoulders for our entire lives.
So both of your points about that, I also, I'm very happy that you guys and the actors in the rehearsal room have done so much research on the subject. Something that was very important for me to consistently uphold during the writing process was whenever I would write anything new, whenever there would be a new point that was brought up, it would always be reviewed by the people I was working on this play with. So to your point, I always wanted everything to be done in a very informed and educated light.
How can our audience learn more about Stars and Relations?
Yes. If you'd like to learn more about Stars and Relations and Roundabout Youth Ensemble, you can go to roundabouttheater.org.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at the theater.